Good day, everyone. Welcome back to our English class. Today, we're going to talk about features of academic writing department. Are you ready to listen? Then, let's begin. First, let's have this activity. Draw a smiley face if the item is an example of an academic writing, or put a sad face if it is not. The first one, novel. Smiley face or sad face. Poem, riddle, thesis, textbook, and song lyric. Now, let's define academic writing. It is a formal style of writing which general purpose is to present information in order to display a clear understanding of a particular subject. The following are some examples of documents where academic writing is used. We have books and news articles, thesis and research paper, abstract and conference paper. Now, let's discuss the features of academic writing. The first one is formality. It is using formal language rather than everyday common language. It is achieved through, number 1, choosing expanded forms over contracted form. For the first characteristic of formality, let's study the table below. The poor examples, can't, doesn't, won't, and either. The improved version, cannot, does not, will not, and I have. For example, the policy does not permit illegal dealings. The next one, choosing one verb form over two word verbs. The poor examples are mess up, brought up, and give back. The improved version of this, damage, raise, and return. An example sentence, the business sectors raised the questions of excluding tax payment from the dialogue. Number 3, avoiding colloquial, trite, or idiomatic expressions. The examples are stuff, a lot of, sort of, thing, you know what I mean, kind of like, and it's raining cats and dogs. For example, with women, there is a great deal instead of a lot of pleasure to conform to a certain physical shape. Next is choosing expanded terms over their abbreviated equivalents. Poor examples of this are ASAP and rom-com. The improved versions are as soon as possible and romantic comedy. An example sentence, the government wants it done as soon as possible. Next features of academic writing is objectivity. It means that the writing must be impersonal. The main emphasis should be on the presented information and or arguments rather than what you think about the issue. First, you have to avoid the use of personal pronouns such as you, I, and we. For example, we need to conduct the experiment, or you can easily forget how different life was 50 years ago. The improved version of this, the researchers need to conduct the experiment, and it is easy to forget how different life was 50 years ago. The second one, avoiding rhetorical questions. The poor example is, how can these problems be solved? The improved version, certain measures must be discovered to solve problems. The third one, avoiding emotive language that shows biases. The poor example is, the investigators were very shocked to see the outcome of the test. The improved version, the investigators did not expect the result. The third feature is explicitness. It is the responsibility of the writer in English to make it clear to the reader how the various parts of the text are related. We can achieve explicitness through using different signaling words, comparisons or similar ideas, similarly in the same way, the contrast or opposite ideas, but, however, on the contrary, for cause and effect, consequently, as a result, and because. Sentence: one should notify any change of address to the Bonds and Stocks Office. Similarly, savings certificates should be re-registered with the Post Office. Then, citing or acknowledging sources of ideas. For example, suicide is a serious public health issue, according to Mann et al. In 2005. The last feature is caution. It is an important feature of academic writing, which is the concept of cautious language, often called hedging or vague language. Caution is needed to avoid sweeping generalizations. To achieve caution, we use devices such as modal verbs, adverbs, or verbs. The examples of modal verbs are would, may, can, might, and should. Adverbs of frequency, often, sometimes, and usually. Verbs tend, suggest, think, believe, and doubt. Now, these are other devices that we may use. Lastly, let's study the table below. It presents sentence not observing caution and sentence observing caution. For example, the commitment to some of the social and economic concepts was less strong than it is now. And nowadays, the urinary symptoms are of a lesser order. These sentences do not observe caution. To improve, it may be said that the commitment to some of the social and economic concepts was less strong than it is now. And nowadays, the urinary symptoms seem to be of a lesser order. Now that we're done with the discussion, let's try this activity. Put a check if the sentence observes the features of academic writing, or put an X if it does not. Are you ready? Number 1. You should cite the sources you use properly. Is it a check or an X? Number 2. You should avoid using different signaling words. And number 3, you should use slang words, e.g. wanna, gonna, and fab. Congratulations for completing this lesson. Thank you very much for watching and for listening. I will see you again. This is your Maestra Mela, always at your service.